Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Mark, a trainer here at WEX Field Service Management, and today we are covering creating invoices and proposals in WEX FSM. This webinar will cover a job form overview. We'll go over recommended settings to make sure your proposals and invoices have the correct things on them by default, where to create job forms in your system, creating proposals, creating invoices, copy feature versus creating new from scratch, we'll take a look at progress billing examples, and then some reporting so you can see your job forms, your proposals and invoices, uh, data in bulk. We will do a live Q&A at the end where you'll be able to ask questions and get those answered live on stream. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into WEX FSM. All right. So today's focus is proposals and invoices, which when we say job forms, that's what we're talking about. Job forms would be the actual documents that you are adding to your jobs. Invoices, proposals, and even proposal comparisons and purchase orders are job forms. When you are in a job, so I have just searched for my customer here, Justin Hernandez. I went to his customer page and I clicked into a job. When you're on a job, you will have proposals, which you can see here. The proposals will show up in the proposals and financing section. You can make as many proposals as you want per job, and you can quickly view the PDF. If you're seeing a proposal here, there is a PDF icon. When you tap on that, it will show you the PDF of the proposal, and this is what your customer will see when you send this out to them. And that will have all the details about the job that you add. Then, if we scroll down, we have an invoices and payments section. So whether you are converting your proposals to an invoice, so you create a proposal, you're ready to take payment, you will click convert to invoice. That will then create an invoice, and you will be able to use that invoice to take payment. Any invoices that you see in this section, you will be able to also click on the PDF icon. This is the PDF, and this is what your customer will see if you send this to them. So that is just a basic overview of what proposals and invoices look like. And before we dive into actually creating those job forms, we want to make sure that your system is set up with the settings that you want. So to do this, we're actually going to go to a couple different admin pages and just check the settings there. To begin, let's go to settings in the top right, jobs. And today we are actually going to go to all of the pages here. So we're going to start with business details, but I highly recommend that you at home are going to all of these pages and setting them up. So settings, jobs, we'll start with business details. This page it may be set up perfectly. It may have all your information correct, but it's always good to check if you haven't done so yet. And just make sure that your business name is spelled correctly. You have the proper address in here. Your time zone is set. Your service email, like your company email. This information that you have here is going to be what is on all of your proposals and invoices when you send it to the customer. This is also where you can set up your logo. So if you have a company logo, you can choose a file, upload that, and then that logo will show in your system in the top left, but it will also show on your proposals and invoices, which we looked at the PDFs earlier. That's what that will look like. So that is business details. Next, let's go to settings, jobs, contract terms. The contract terms, this is the legal stuff. This is your contracts that you have for your jobs, and it is the binding contract between you and your customer. Now, for some of my customers, they just put in a general terms and conditions, and that's all they use, and that's, all that they need for the work that they do. Other customers of mine will go in and create a contract term for every job type. For, if I'm doing residential service, that's going to be my residential service contract terms. If I'm doing commercial installs, I'll make one for commercial installs. It's completely up to you what you want here, but to create new terms, you will click Create New Terms, enter in the name of the terms, and then the description. If you already have like a contract write up in a Word document somewhere, you can just copy and paste that into here. You can type it in here, and you have the option to make these contract terms a default for proposals and or invoices. When I create a proposal or invoice, it will default to what I have set as a default. And then I will be able to change that if I need to on the job form itself. And what will show up when I go to change that setting is what I have here. This will be the list you see in the dropdown. Next, let's go to settings, jobs, job preferences. So this page, there's quite a few options on this page, but as it relates to proposals and invoices, you will want to make sure you're looking at the job forms section. So this is basically asking, do you want by default these items to show? So location name, model number, unit prices, maintenance plan savings, billing address name, product number, line item amounts and quantities. And if you have them all toggled on, it's all going to show when you present to the customer. So in this scenario, they would see the location name. They're going to see the model number. So if they wanted to, they could go look up the model number and see how much, that is going for in the market. Maybe you don't want them to see that and have the ability to look that up. So you can just toggle that off if that's something you never want to show by default. And then you will have options to either hide or show these when you're actually making the job form. But these are your defaults. This is what your proposals and invoices will look like when you create them. All right. So let's move on. We're going to go now to settings, jobs, job types. And then job types, this is a great way for you to let the system know which type of job is happening. And as we looked at the contract terms, you could set up a different contract term for each type of job that you do. And this is where you set up those job types. When I'm creating appointments, let's say, I will be able to tag them as a install or as a uh, repair and things like that. And then when you are creating your proposals and invoices, you'll be able to go into your reports and toggle filters by the job type. So as long as your, let's say, install jobs are being tagged as an install job type, I'm creating proposals, I'm making invoices, and 6 months from now, I want to go in and I want to pull all of my proposals that I did for installs last month. As long as you are using the job types, you'll be able to pull that information very easily. Next, let's go to settings, jobs, payment terms. And then these are your terms for payment. And, maybe you're doing single family home residential service and everything's due on receipt. Then you would want to set due on receipt as the default. That way you don't have to change it every time you make a job form. But maybe you do a lot of different types of jobs that have different payment terms. My commercial customers were doing a net 30. There's a very special customer we've been working with for years, and we have them on a net 90. Whatever those terms are, you are going to hit add new payment terms, put in the name of the terms, how many days they have to pay, and then you can make this a default payment term if you want and hit save. And then when you're on your proposals and invoices, these will be selectable options in the payment terms section. Okay. Now, another area that I would recommend setting up for your proposals and invoices to work nice and fluidly is make sure you have your price book set up. So just as an example, if I go to more applications, price book, my price book, this is one option to have a price book. So if you're using Profit Rhino flat rate price book, that is already set up. If you have that as part of your subscription, you will have those flat rate items and that big catalog fully built out in your system, ready to go. If you loaded a price book into your system, you would see all of those from the My Price Book page. And you can also manually build out your price book. You can create your categories. I'm not going to do an overview of price book today, but if you are interested in that, you can always go down to the Help Center, go to the Help tab, and just type in price book. And all of our learning articles, which most of these include videos, will show you how to do that. The price book video course and overview, I do recommend looking at that one. But it's crucial, when we're creating our proposals and invoices, you're going to need to pull items in. Now, you could technically create custom line items, but I highly recommend you set up pricing in your system before you start really getting into making proposals and invoices. And also, let's check warranties. If you are selling systems, equipment, things that have warranties, you'll want to make sure that that is set up as well. To do this, we will go to More Applications, Price Book, Warranties. And then you can click Add New Warranty to add either a manufacturer parts warranty or a labor warranty. And then when you are creating your price book items, if a price book item that you're going to sell has a warranty, you can add that warranty to the price book item in the price book. And then when you add that item to your proposals and invoices, the warranty will just automatically be attached. But on your job forms, let's say I'm on an invoice and I realize I need a different warranty, you will be able to select from a drop down of whatever warranties you have set up here. And the last setting we're going to look at before we actually get into making proposals and invoices is maintenance plans. Not everyone does maintenance plans. So if you don't offer maintenance plans, you don't have to do this. But if you are going to offer maintenance plans on, proposals and invoices, you'll want to get that set up first. To do this, you will go to More Applications, Maintenance Plans. And then same as the price book, if you are interested in learning how to set up and manage your maintenance plans, you can go to the Help Center, search for help, and just type in maintenance plans. You'd have to spell it correctly. And then all of our maintenance plan articles will show up here as well. Okay, so that is kind of a setup. At least one time, go through and make sure that those settings are set to your liking. Of course, you can go and edit these from those settings pages anytime you need to, but that gets a good foundation. So when you're in the field, your job forms are looking and feeling how you want. All right, next, let's talk about where to actually create these job forms. My throat just got crazy dry out of nowhere. Sorry about that. Okay, so there's a couple places where you can actually create proposals and invoices. The very first place we're going to look at is creating them from a customer page. So navigate to a customer. We're going to go to Justin Hernandez. I'm just typing in my customer name in the search in the top right and select their name, and that will take you to their customer page. Every customer page has quick actions, and we can see if we look all the way at the end here, the very last red square says create a new job form. And so, let's say I'm talking to a customer and I already know I've done the job that I'm about to do for them a million times. I just want to quickly mock up a proposal. I can go to the customer page. I can click create new job form. And then I have the option to create a new job with a proposal or with an invoice. And so the way that this works, if I'm creating a proposal or an invoice, it needs a place to live, and that would be inside of a job. So you have to have a job to have an invoice or a proposal because those will live inside of that. What this is doing is this is saying, do you want to create a new job? What type of job is this? And then I saw some HVAC crews in here. So let's say this was a no AC call. And then I can either create a job without a proposal or invoice and add them later, or create it immediately with a proposal or with a new invoice. So let's go ahead and create a new proposal. So I'm just going to click create new proposal. So there we go. Now I have created a job. So we can see right here under job is job 14. Oh, sorry. 14. Oh my goodness. If you click on the job number, it will take you to the job. Okay. So it's job 14188. This is our no AC call we just created. And this is the proposal we're creating for that job. Now, we are going to come back to a proposal and build it out, but I just wanted to show you we have now created a proposal, and we'll hit save and close on this. And we've created that proposal and the job page from the customer page. So that is one way that you can do this. You can create those from the customer page. But when you create an appointment, let's say from the schedule page, every time you create an appointment, it also creates a job. And maybe that's the main way you're creating jobs is you have someone in the office scheduling appointments. Those are creating jobs. And now those jobs you can go into and create your invoices and proposals from there. As an example, let's hover over our install here for Emily Davis. And we're going to go into Emily's job 14180. When you are in a job, so we're on the job page for this install, you will scroll down and you can create proposals from proposals and financing by clicking new to create a new proposal from scratch, or copy, which let's talk about the copy feature. When I click copy, what that is saying is I want to copy a previous job form that I've made in the past and use it for this new customer. When you're creating proposals and invoices, you have the option to favorite them. And if you do favorite them, they'll show up here under your favorites. If I want to, let's say that this install we're doing is a furnace install. I just did a furnace install for my customer, Justin, last week, and I'm actually going to sell the same system. So I can just click on that, and that essentially acts as a template that will create the proposal. It has all of the information on it from that previous job. Let's say that I need to update the price. I can click on the name. I can come in and change, update what I need and hit update. But it saves a ton of time. We didn't have to fully build this out from scratch. We've copied it. It's ready to go. And now I can just send it to my customer, convert it to an invoice to take payment, or even just present it if the customer is in front of me and show it to them. We're going to hit save and close on that. And also the copy feature is available on the mobile app as well. So you can do that in both places, desktop and mobile. All right, so now let's actually create a proposal and invoice from scratch and go over the details. To do this, we're going to go to our job. Let's go back to Justin. And I made a job for this demonstration. So I'm on my customer Justin's page here, customer page, and I'm just going to search for job 13437. And there we go. I'm going to click the job number. And now we are in this job. So let's create a proposal from scratch. So we're going to scroll down to proposals and financing. I want to make a new proposal, so I'm going to click new. Now we're on a brand new proposal. Starting at the very top, we have mark as favorite. If I'm building this and I'm like, this is the 100th time I've made this proposal, I want to be able to copy this in the future. You can mark that as a favorite, and that makes it easier to find when you go to copy. Along with that, if you are favoriting, you will most likely also want to name the proposal. So right here where it says add name under proposal name, we will add this. Maybe this will be a, furnace install. When I go to look for this, when I copy, I'll see, oh, this is the furnace install for Justin that I did last week. Let's copy that. You can assign a technician from here. So if you want, let's say you're giving some allocation to your technicians every time they have a proposal that's signed, you give them a commission. You'll need a way to track that, and you would do that by tagging the technician on the proposal. You have your issue date, a custom field here. If you I know for some commercial jobs, there's like a work order number or your license number that has to be visible when they're looking at the job form. You can just click custom field and put in, whatever you need and hit save. And that will show up when you're looking at the proposal. In the very top right, we have pricing settings. And this is a way to update the pricing strategy that the price book items will take when they're added to this job form. So right now it's standard price. So as I add items, they'll be the standard price. Let's say that this customer I find out is in the military and we will offer a military discount. So I will change this to military discount. And when I update, when I add items from my price book now, it will discount them based on the military discount I have set on the pricing strategies page. Do you want maintenance plan pricing to show or hide that? Line item quantities and prices. This is you'll set your defaults like we talked about earlier, but this is where you can update these manually if needed. We'll go ahead and put that back to the standard price and hit update. All right. If for any reason you need to update taxes, you can just do that here with tax group. Click the drop down. Maybe this is a school and it's pulling the tax by their zip code, but you want to charge 0% tax. Any changes or updates, you just do that from here. Proposals allow you to put a featured image. That would be the image of the service, the image of the product that you are selling, maybe a piece of equipment. But that image will show when you present to the customer this proposal. Or if I add this proposal to a proposal comparison, it'll use the featured image as the image you see in the carousel when you're looking through the different options. Now let's build out from our price book the items that we're going to sell to our customer. To do this, you will click Add Item. That's going to pull up all of your price books. Now, everyone may have a different option here. All subscriptions have from price book, and that's going to be your main WEX FSM price book that we looked at earlier from the My Price Book page. You are, building those out and organizing those manually. If you have Profit Rhino, you will be able to see that here, which is the flat rate price book. And if you're using QuickBooks, if you're syncing to QuickBooks, and let's say you use your QuickBooks item list as your price book, those items are right here. But you do have to be in that tab for the search to work. So if I were to search for, a coil, that's going to pull coils from my QuickBooks item list if I'm on that tab. If I click over to flat rate, it's going to just pull up from the flat rate folder. And if I go to my price book, it'll pull just from that. When you are searching, if you know exactly what you're looking for, type that in the search and that will populate below. If you're not sure, but you would like to look through your folders and see what's available and select from that, you can choose price book folders. And as long as you have your folders organized the way you want, it's very easy just to go in and add the items that you need. Let's say that we are going to do a install and we'll hit add item. All right. And when you're adding items from the price book, you can add multiple items at a time, and they will be added in the order that you select them. So if I'm going through, let's say I'm going to look for, general part. I select that first. Then I'm going to look for a general labor, select that second. And then maybe I want a filter. Select that third. I've added 3 items. I'm going to hit add items. And now we can see those have been added in the order that I selected. And I was able to multi-select items. So everything we've done so far, we've pulled from our price book. Those are items that are in our price book, but maybe you don't have your price book set up yet, or there's an item that's not in your price book, but you need to make this right now. You can use custom line items. When you click Add Custom Line Item, you'll be able to search for the item in case it exists. So let's say filter. Oh, looks like I already have what I'm looking for. You can select that. But if you don't, you will hit exact match found. Oh wait, it can't be the exact same name. So if you do have a duplicate, so let's say this is filter 23, you'll be able to now create custom line item as entered. And then you build this out, description, put the price, whatever you need it to be, and hit add. Adding items in this way will not add them to your price book. If you're wanting to add items to your price book, from here, you'll need to go into add item into the folder section. And then if you scroll all the way to the bottom, here you can add a new product. So if I add a custom line item, it is a unique one-off item that I'm adding just for this job form. If I have an item that I know I want to add to my price book, but I don't want to have to go to my price book page, go and click new product from the price book folders after hitting add item. And then next time you go to search for that item, it'll be there because it's been added to the price book. Cool. Let me check my notes here, make sure I didn't miss anything. We did that. All right, moving right along. So on our proposal here, we have the items. I know these are random. You will know better than anyone what you're going to add to your proposal. And then we have some options here. So down below, let's say that this, 6 grand plus is something that the customer needs, but they just can't afford it right now. Offering financing is a great way to have that two-way benefit for your customer to get the service they need and you to get the sale. And you can use financing to do this. If let's say for this, you want to offer financing, you will tap select a financing product, select the loan that you want them to apply for, and then hit save. Just like the price book, just like maintenance plans, this is something that does need to be set up on the back end first in order for these loans to show up here. And again, if you're interested in financing, go to the Help Center, Help, and then you can search for financing tutorials. We also do a financing webinar if you would like to come to that as well. But there you go. So now we've added financing. In the moment, maybe you're standing in front of the customer and they will tap on, your device, continue to apply. They can apply for financing. It's an instant approval, so you'll know whether or not they are approved. And if they are approved, then you will do the job and then you'll get the money as a lump sum sent to you minus whatever dealer fee that loan had. For maintenance plans, let's say that we want to recommend a maintenance plan to this customer for them to sign up and become a maintenance plan customer in my system. I will click recommend a maintenance plan, select the plan you want to offer, and hit save. That's going to add this as like a recommended item first. The customer says, you know what, that sounds good. You're going to come out twice a year and just make sure, everything looks good. Sounds great. We will hit sign up now. And then this is the process that we're actually adding the maintenance plan to the customer account. And we're determining the plan name. Is the description correct or do we need to update it? Is the plan start date and end date good? This is saying they're going to pay $100 a year. Then grab a signature if you want and hit next. These are just confirming the service windows. This is saying we're going to go out there between January and June and do our AC cleaning, and July and December and do our heat cleaning. This is the contact info for who we're going to reach out to when it's time to actually send a tech out there. And then for payment, you can do on proposal, which means it will be included on this proposal. And when we convert to invoice, they'll be able to pay the invoice to pay for the maintenance plan. You can also set them up on a payment plan, which the payment plan is simple. You take their payment information, whether that is debit or credit card or check, and then fill out the info here. Pick the frequency you want them to pay. Maybe it's going to be annually, and it will auto debit their payment info on the frequency that you set. You can also store account information, and if you do that, that will show up under the stored account section. For today's example, we'll put it on the proposal and hit done. So now we have our proposal. We've recommended a maintenance plan. We've added some financing. We got a lot going on for this job. And if you scroll to the bottom, you can present, which is allows it to clean it up and make it presentable for the customer. You can convert to invoice if you're ready to take payment, or you can send it to the customer. So let's say we send it. Wait a minute, send. So this is saying some line items are missing an income account. Teachable moment here. If you see this, it says some line items on this proposal are missing an income account. That's most likely because I quickly added line items but didn't select the income account. If you're syncing to QuickBooks, QuickBooks needs to know, well, both systems needs to know where that's going to sync. And if you click on the item itself, it will show the income account that you are syncing to from here. What that was saying is some of these don't have an income account. So let's take a look, and it's this one, filter 23. And I'm just going to say, let's send that to our income job. And it should be good now. Cool. Select who you want to send this to and hit send. Alrighty. So that is creating the proposal. We can see we have added our furnace install here. Let's say the customer signs it, which they would do, let's say from their house, and then you will get a message that the proposal has been signed, and it will update to saying it's signed in your system. Now we're ready to convert this to an invoice and take payment. So we're going to hit convert to invoice, total proposed amount, convert to invoice. Everything that we went over for proposals is exactly the same on invoices in terms of favoriting all the info down here, pricing settings, adding items from the price book, functionality, exactly the same. Biggest difference, you can't take a payment on a proposal. So when we convert to invoice, I can make updates if I need to or want to from here. Otherwise, this is good to go, and we're ready to scroll down and take payment. Pay now will process through WEX FSM and send the money to your bank account. Record payment is if you're going to process payment outside of WEX FSM, or let's say someone gives you cash, you'll need to take that to the bank, but we want to record that that payment happened. Or you can send this out to the customer and they can pay online. For today's example, let's record a payment. This is saying this hasn't been signed by the customer. You can bypass that by hitting yes, but I do recommend you get signatures. And then from here, we are just saying we're going to pay for today's invoice. And let's say that they're paying with a check. And hit record payment. All right. And there you go. So now we have created a proposal. We've converted it to an invoice. We took a look at invoicing. We know that building out an invoice is the same as building out a proposal, so you can use all those same steps. And we have two more sections before we get into our Q&A. We're going to take a look at a progress billing example in case you need to invoice out in phases or stages of a job, and then some reports I recommend taking a look at. So for progress billing, I created a progress billing mock-up so you can see what this looks like when it's complete. But progress billing is when you are needing to bill typically for a big job, a long-term job, and it will have phases. So as you complete each phase of the job, you'll bill out based on completing each phase. For progress billing in WEX FSM, the first thing you would do is create a proposal that will be for the entire job. And just looking at the PDF here, you can see that I have created my proposal and I made sure to put each phase. So for this particular job, it's 40 grand and we're going to do 4 phases. And obviously these would say what the phases are and what they include, and you detail this out how you need to. You'll use this to show to the customer as your proposal. They decide, you know what, this looks great. And you tell them, we will be billing you as each phase completes. And let's say for this job, we'll do 25% of the total per invoice as we build these out. What you will want to do is you'll want to create progress invoices. And so we are going to convert to invoice for as many times as the phases we need. So in this example, we are converting to invoice 4 times. When you click convert to invoice, we'll do as a percentage of the total proposed amount. Let's say the first one will be, 25%. And then it will say this invoice will be $10,000 and it will subtract 10,000 from the total amount. Now this is all red because I've already made all 4 invoices and my system is saying, hey, you're done. We already have the invoices. You'll hit convert to invoice and then that will show down below. Now, a pro tip, if you're really going to use this, create all the invoices so it's done, but you don't want this to mess with your accounts receivable aging. So you will want to go into each invoice. So let's click into, let's say, invoice number 2. And you're going to want to change the due date. So issue date, payment terms, due date. So we would want to set the due date out in the future. And that way, when you go to look at your profit and loss reporting, it's not showing an outstanding balance for these invoices that are sitting in the system. All right, last thing we'll look at is some reports I recommend taking a look at, and then we will get into our Q&A. First, we have lists. and we have reports. So a couple lists for proposals and invoices would be jobs, proposal list, and invoice list. The proposal list will show you all of your proposals in your system. You can see statuses, proposal amounts, you can get to the job numbers. And a good use case for this is I've got a job, I know there's a proposal I need. I have the job number on a sticky note. I need to investigate. You can just come here and quickly search for a proposal and either go to the job or open the proposal and start editing. The invoice list, which would be jobs, invoice list, well, it's the same thing. It shows you all of your invoices in your system, but this one, since invoices sync to QuickBooks, will have an auto sync section. And you can do troubleshooting here if needed, if anything is not syncing properly for your invoices. And then to get to reporting, so those were lists. To get to reporting, you'll go to the reporting page by clicking reporting in the main navigation. And from here, as it relates to proposals and invoices, I recommend looking at the proposals report right here under jobs. The receivables report, which is here under receivables or under accounting, and the job summary report, which is here. Proposals will show you your close rate, opportunities, and opportunities won, and then these are all of your proposals in your system. Receivables will show you all of your invoices in your system, and I love this page for collections and making sure people pay their bill. You can click into payment status and search all overdue invoices for the date range you select. And now I can see there's almost 100 grand out there that is uncollected and we need to collect. So you can click select all, send invoices, and then send. And that will send a payment reminder out. It's very nice when you send payment reminders and a lot of people pay their bill all at one time. And the final thing is job summary. This is going to just give you an overall, like top level view of all your jobs in your system. And so I can see, did someone schedule an appointment and was it complete? If not, maybe you want to look into that. Is there a signed proposal but no invoice? What happened there? So this just allows you to kind of see an overview of each job. Did they did they complete their checklist? And then you can go into the job to investigate further as needed. All right, so I know we covered a lot. We're going to get into our Q&A now if you do have any questions. But before we do, I just want to say thank you so much for joining. I hope you learned something. My name is Mark with WEX Field Service Management, and this has been Creating Invoices and Proposals.